The theory of irreversibility may be our answer to how Commander Reve, or Helt, of the Shadow Warriors will yeet Serie and get rid of all of magic. Solitaire in the Golden Land arc gave us insight into what it can mean. Frieren, also in the Golden Land and Goddess Monument arc, also provided more context clues as to why the theory of irreversibility may be crucial to what Commander Reve is about to do. While it's never explicitly stated what exactly the theory of irreversibility entails, it has been associated with time, barriers, Frieren's general themes, and we can make tons of assumptions just based on the word irreversibility. A lot of Frieren's themes are about going beyond what you can perceive with imagination. This applies to magic and warriors alike, like when the hero's party got trapped in Bo's the Immortal's barrier. One of the reasons why magic is so prolific and growing at a rapid pace beyond the pace of demons, what they did to improve upon their own magic is those feisty human emotions that Mach and even the Demon King could never grasp. In this video, I will be making my attempt at explaining the concept of the theory of irreversibility in Frieren, how it ties to Frieren's most important themes, and how it's played out since the Golden Land arc. While I may not have an answer to what exactly Commander Reve will do, I think it's highly probable that he will reverse magic from the world with the help of the theory of irreversibility. If magic can exist in the world, it can also not exist. If Frieren time traveling to the past can affect the future, what is to stop someone else from going back to the mythic times to prevent magic from spreading? Unfortunately, with the first week of another Frieren manga hiatus in the books, Yamada Kanehito gave Serie an updated script for what will happen to her in this arc, and it said, "Your death is irreversible." Sure it is. You just need people that go beyond your expectations and go wild with their imagination. Chapter 147 introduced what could be the clairvoyant characters, or at the very least, the combination of characters crucial in yeeting the great mage Serie, Ashi no Megami. In Commander Reve, whose real name is Helt, and his servant, who turns out to be the strongest Southern Lands warrior during his time in Lyra. The story is leading us to believe that they are simple pawns with, at the very least, connections to this clairvoyant person that will lead them to yeeting Serie, with their ultimate goal of eliminating magic from the world. What made this chapter more compelling was it brought forth a question we all had in the back of our minds beyond the attempt to yeet Serie. In the Shadow Warriors' ultimate goal and motive in taking down all these great mages and other powerful ones that champion magic like a sense. And so how in the hell is Commander Leuven and all of his associates going to get rid of all the magic? They literally can't mass yeet everyone, can they? Can they? That's not realistic and quite demonic. Now that we have a backstory of Helt's, we know that saving humanity and being a hero like Himo the Hero is the inspiration behind getting rid of all magic. The Southern Lands have been warring for ages, using magic like Zoltrak to constantly yeet each other. So by removing magic from the world, that means less yeeting and less wars, right? At least that's what Commander Reve seems to think. At this point, along with various other powerful mages that are on the Shadow Warriors list to yeet, we all know that 3 great mages were and are on their list. Minas the Witch, Serie the Living Grimoire, and Frieren the Cake Eater. The great mage Minas the Witch has already been yeeted. Frieren avoided her assassination at least once, but still remains on other lists, and Serie is the top priority right now. In my previous video, I mentioned that yeeting Serie may not be a matter of want, but a need to yeet. This may be related to the great mages being the ones that allow magic to exist in the world today. Or at the very least, they are like pillars of magic. We can assume that the goddess of creation from mythic times, who looks like an elf, may have all of our answers as to magic's origins, where the magic of the goddess comes from, how demons acquired it, and many more unanswered questions. Serie, the living grimoire, knows almost all magic that exists in the world today. She is from the same mythic times that has been said that the goddess of creation was from that same time period. Serie can literally transfer any magic she has to any other individuals, like what she did with all of her first class mages. Imagine if she decided to not be a gatekeeper of magic, believed in Flamme and Frieren's way of thinking, and just gave away all of her magical knowledge to the rest of the world. She can single-handedly spark a golden age of magic in humanity, but clearly they're doing it without her. Just from this standpoint alone, it makes too much sense for Commander Reve to want to end her at all costs, not only because she has a monstrous level of strength, but for what she can do for the rest of the world in terms of her centuries of knowledge of magic. So let's take it a step further in our assumption that she needs to get yeeted to end all magic, and how it may relate to the theory of irreversibility. The theory of irreversibility, Fukagyakse no Genri. I always thought this chapter was Solitaire during the Golden Land arc when she took down the Continental Magic Association barrier, that this theory of irreversibility was just another general lore element of Frieren. But no. It's been brought up multiple times since. That includes Flamme, who studied it when Frieren threw shots at her when she was old. And Solitaire, once again, in the Goddess Monument arc, now is actually starting to provide at least a piece of a big picture answer for a macro concept of the Frieren world. Essentially, something that is irreversible can be reversible. If magic exists, then how do you make it non-existent? Commander Reve seems to be confident that this is possible. Every recurring Frieren theme and motif becomes those context clues for how Helt will be able to do it. We've seen instances already where magic can be nullified, like in chapter 61 with the magic nullifying crystal. So the idea that the mana that you possess can be removed. Looking back at Solitaire's role in Frieren, she is used heavily to explain Frieren lore. Her role is extremely important because on the demon side, she has been studying humanity for probably eons. And there is a big looming mystery over what Grossum learned from Frieren when she went to the past in the Goddess Monument arc and passed along that info into the Solitaire of the Golden Land arc. So why am I going to talk so much about Solitaire and Mach? She literally explains and gives us context clues about how the theory of irreversibility is applied, or more like, she literally reverses it, like when she took down the Continental Magic Association's barrier. Her, along with Mach, talk about certain qualities of humans and demons, how evolution built them differently. That's why they can never truly understand human qualities like guilt and grief, because demons were born to deceive and prey on humans. It's like what Frieren said, she comps this quality of demons like them breathing. Qualities like guilt and grief don't make sense for the survivability instincts of demons. However, if they can will it or imagine it enough, by nature of Frieren's biggest themes and motifs, we would imagine that Mach and demons can develop these qualities. But obviously we know that Mach couldn't, and we know that Solitaire accepted that fact, that there are just biological differences between each race. If we think of Mach's entire arc and everything that had to do with Dia Golds in Dinkin's hometown of the Fortress City of Weiss, it basically boils down to many things being irreversible, being reversible, except for certain qualities that we know that demons lack, which is important for the advancement of magic, and it was crucial in why Mach couldn't undo his Dia Golds. Mach's motivations were to understand human sensibilities like malice, guilt, and empathy, and by betraying people he becomes close to, he could understand humans more, but never could. Demons lack what humans and elves have: imagination and emotions crucial to humanity, which leads us to why humanity's magic expanded and grew beyond what demons could ever perceive. Remember how surprised Qual was when Frieren yeeted him with Zoltrak? That's an entire video on his own, but that idea of something irreversible implies in the fact that Mach and the Demon King couldn't coexist because they lacked those qualities, which is the crucial secret sauce to expanding magic at a rapid pace like humanity is doing now, along with an imagination that allows you to surpass that mental obstacle. And once again, it's possible if the Demon King and Mach kept yeeting humanity and betraying people, they might eventually develop those human emotions. But the Demon King 1/3 of the human population in trying to understand those emotions. So maybe not, or it just takes too long. So having imagination and getting past mental obstacles is something we are likely to see soon with someone like you, Bill, getting past routines. Big ol' shield. Mach was so strong that he ended up just turning everyone into gold and didn't have the ability to reverse it. It was such a powerful spell that not even Serie understood how to reverse it. But she knew the human qualities that Mach lacked, that he needed to undo Dia Gold's, are feet goddess. Says it herself, it's irreversible. Magic is about imagination. Turning people into gold and reversing it are two different things. A monster like you, who is incapable of understanding humanity, can't return the people of Weiss to normal. And we already know what Frieren did. Mach's character is special in the fact that most demons specialize in one particular spell or discipline. He was able to use multiple human-based magic and even taught it to Dinkin. It was Solitaire who studied human magic and was able to teach it to him. In chapter 97, Solitaire explains further just how special the 7 demon sages are that humanity would never be able to grasp. How their magic works, because their biology and brains are just built differently. So it boils down to the humanity part that Mach lacks in Frieren's core themes, imagination and human emotions. Like Commander Louvre or Helt, magic is a weapon or a tool to demons. Even though I'm alluding to the fact that Helt will be able to apply removing magic from the world using the theory of irreversibility. Even though he's not a mage, I think Himo the hero's character and what he represents is of the same vein. In the flashback with Bose the Immortal, he proved Frieren wrong that if they had belief, they could escape. And escape they did, and defeated Bose the Immortal, telling him that he shouldn't have underestimated humans. In the Goddess Monument arc, Himo made an impossibility a possibility by slashing up Grossum, even though he was trapped in a hypnosis. And now back to Mach and the idea of Dia Gold's being irreversible. If we rewind it back a bit further in chapter 82, Frieren explains that Dia Gold's cannot be dispelled even with the magic of the goddess. Dia Gold's is a magical curse that basically prevents you from identifying it as magic. The theory of irreversibility is not magic related. It is a law of nature that can be bent with a divine force, a will. The likely reason why the magic of the goddess doesn't work on these curses is probably because it's more about some abstract divine willpower than magic itself. Himo is that inspiration, the undeniable belief that you can overcome. Once again, that Bose the Immortal barrier incident is the perfect reflection of this, as it gave Frieren belief to take down an unbreakable barrier that she initially gave up on. In chapter 94, Solitaire explains some extremely important concepts of what the theory of irreversibility may mean, or more like she explained it in the barrier itself that she eventually reversed. While Frieren goes on to analyze Mach's memories on a deeper level, which may mean a lot more if these other memories can help in the Foundation Festival arc or even in future arcs. Solitaire reiterates many things of what she learns about humans and reiterates Mach's lack of ability to dispel the barrier that the Continental Magic Association put up because, once again, he lacks those human qualities. She goes on to explain that the barrier was created by several great mages with their accumulated wisdom that is rooted in humanity's magical theory. The typical demon cannot destroy the barrier unless some demons that choose to study humanity's magic, like herself. This basically means to me that if Solitaire has a grasp on human and demon magical theory, she can reverse a lot of things, like she did here. This is another reason why great mages must be yeeted, due to their unlimited time to grasp all understanding of magic. If magic can be removed from the world, it can definitely be brought back. If we look at Frieren, she undid Diagold's, traveled back in time when that shouldn't be possible, and multiple times throughout, with the help of Himo the hero's influence, Frieren has broken through many mental barriers to achieve what she thought was impossible. If Commander Reve can divine will force his way into removing magic from the world, Frieren can potentially reverse it and bring it back. That is why it makes sense that Serie must be yeeted, because along with Frieren, they are capable in allowing magic to continue being a reality. Solitaire explains every little detail of what put together that Continental Magic Association barrier. From the Southern Lands, the protective magic circle from the Calm clan, who specialize in sealing demons, the Andari style barrier created by the principle of irreversibility. And then there was the portion about the Imperial magic that was used for the defense of the United Empire, called the Great Barrier of Isolation. All these different theories went into putting up that barrier that Solitaire brought down. Andere in German means other. This could be an insight into an otherworldly barrier. Maybe it has something to do with a different magical system based on the theory of irreversibility. Although I'm focused only on the part where the principle of irreversibility was applied to the barrier that Solitaire eventually took down, she still took it down. Something based in irreversibility, something that is supposedly time related. This continues to add to the scary fact of how extremely special Solitaire is, that she understands both humanity's magic on some fundamental level and demon magic. And it's that demon 7 sages type of greater demon magic that humans aren't supposed to quite understand. She was able to reverse something that demons shouldn't be able to do, but she understood enough about the theory of humanity's magic, even while she lacked those crucial human emotions, to be creative and imaginative herself. This right here is like an entirely different video, but this is what makes demons so dangerous, and probably why Frieren, when she traveled back in time, why she didn't want to reveal her magic from the future. Although demons like Mach can't reverse engineer their own abilities without those crucial human sensibilities, humans can. And if there are more demons like Solitaire that can understand humans more, or just copy and obtain that magical knowledge due to humanity's advancement, it makes a demon revolution possible. Remember that the 7 demon sages' magic is beyond human comprehension because their brains and biology are not the same. Frieren reiterates this point in the Goddess Monument arc, where she went, how magic works between demons is that humans are just systematically different. The fact that demons are so specialized and live centuries as well, humanity can only perceive its abilities like it's a fairy tale. And it's possible that along with Frieren analyzing Mach's memories, she subconsciously has a grasp of the overall foundation that combines all knowledge of magic, the theory from humanity's side, the theory from demon side. It somehow allows her to understand the goddesses of creation's magic, how that works, or maybe just how magic even exists at all. And while Solitaire has an understanding of how humanity's magic works on some level, the fact that Edo read and passed along Mach's memories, that is a huge feat in itself. So when Frieren analyzed Mach's memories, we can assume that she now has some level of comprehension of how demon magic works from a demon point of view. This isn't an ordinary demon either. It is a 7 sage demon, special to them, noted by Solitaire. So when Frieren undoes Diagold's, we can assume, like Solitaire, they both have an understanding on some fundamental level without fully grasping it, how it works, and reverse something previously deemed irreversible. A lot of the Frieren themes involve imagination and willing yourself in some way to achieve a new magical spell or get yourself out of a bind. The entire Golden Land arc is the culmination of all of this. Frieren also has great observation skills. She can figure out how to deal with something that she doesn't completely understand, and she can essentially copy some spells, like what she did to Solitaire in their fight. What starts to happen is all the things you couldn't imagine happening before, like Himo believing that they can escape Bull's the Immortal's barrier, along with him giving Frieren the belief that she can imagine breaking the barrier. He allowed Frieren to get over that obstacle, to make that impossibility a possibility. Like what Hyther said, he's always been a contrarian to Himo and never really believed that they could defeat the Demon King. But he eventually believed in Himo the hero. So we know that if you believe and can imagine it, it can happen. And that right there might be attributed to some kind of divine force, a will. That is what ties in chapter 116 with Solitaire mentioning that in the theory of irreversibility, time cannot be reversed, but divine will can. That time being reversed is supposed to be a law of nature. So obviously that law of nature can be bent. And Solitaire herself figured out that barrier that applied that law of nature. She somehow undid that as well. From the Frieren side, she literally time traveled. The goddess of all creation enchanted 10 stone monuments that somehow allowed Frieren to go back and forth through time, with that spell inscribed onto the monument. And we are not sure if anyone else besides Frieren would be able to do that. It's quite clear that the Demon King, Solitaire, and Grossum were all aware that the goddess's enchanted monument had something to do with time traveling, as Grossum sent Zart the Remnant to investigate it. These are just more clues as to how things like time can be reversed, and that demons were, and some that are potentially still alive, are aware of this fact. And like what Solitaire did by analyzing the Golden Land barrier with their 2-month analysis, knowledge of human magic and understanding of how different great mages understood it, she was able to break something unbreakable, for demons at least. Let's remember that in the first class mage exam, Frieren broke what Ganao thought was unbreakable in Serie's barrier. This is a metaphor for that Frieren motif that you can go beyond what you think is capable, and you can create new magic if you can imagine beyond the obstacles. I believe that is exactly what Commander Reve is applying here in eliminating all magic from the world. How that ties into yeeting all the great mages is the big question. Why does he need to do that even though he can yeet him? In which it may have to do with characters like Frieren that prove that she can reverse something that should be irreversible. That is where the theory of irreversibility becomes a big picture answer for Commander Reve, or Held's solution to ridding the world of something he deems more dangerous for the world. The plot to yeet Serie is everything we previously know about how the Frieren world works, and tying it into a grander conspiracy to do something even more incredible, like imagining yeeting Serie and eliminating all magic. If we look carefully at this chapter 147 page and everything that is currently happening in the story, each fight and scenario represents a part of the themes of Frieren. Werlos and Gorilla versus Falch, with incoming of Frieren's party that includes Fern, Stark, and Zion, will tackle the crucial ideas of legacy, with Aizen and Werlos being the main tie-in and where it all went wrong for Gorilla Warrior, becoming the antithesis of what Himo the hero represented. Yubel is literally needing to overcome an obstacle and can't imagine getting past routine shield. Megane couldn't imagine working well with Yubel as a partner. And Falch, well, Falch is TBD. Each and every arc prior builds upon the foundation of the Frieren story, Soul Track being the foundation of human killing magic, or the Guillotines arc, with Flamme's explanation that demons have too much pride and generally specialize in one spell. The first class mage exam explained that everyone has a weakness no matter how immense your magical power is, along with the fact that imagination is a core tenet of magic flourishing. The Divine Revolte arc was a short elaboration of all of this, of being a balance of working together as well. The Golden Land arc with Mach is where these general concepts meet an overarching plot point that started to combine the entire lore of Frieren with the themes on a grander scale. Now we have the Foundation Festival arc that looks to counter all the core tenets of what is inspirational in the Frieren story. Ultimately, while I believe the theory of irreversibility will be applied to whatever Commander Reve will do to undo magic from the world, It will take someone that knows magic inside out like Frieren. She likely has the capability to prevent that reality from being permanent. The fact that she analyzed all of Mok's memories, aside from the missing memories of the hero of the South fight, she has some level of understanding of how demon magic works. Even if it was stated by Solitaire that she doesn't fully understand how demon sage magic works, she was still able to deal with it. Frieren has proven twice that she was able to undo something that wasn't necessarily supposed to be reversible, with undoing Mok's Dia Golds and traveling to the past during the Goddess Monument arc. And like with the Bulls the Immortal incident with the barrier, and many times throughout this series, she analyzed and took down barriers with the help and motivation of the belief in Himo the hero. And that is why I believe the theory of irreversibility, if it is a law of nature, or if divine force and willpower can bend that law of nature, it's very much looking like our MC is gonna be, the hero MC. While it looks like Help will momentarily be able to remove magic from the world somehow, it will come down to Frieren reversing the reverse. While my explanation of the theory of irreversibility may not be fully baked, I hope all the concepts and themes, what happened with Mok and Solitaire, and what we know what Frieren has done thus far, helps provide that insight into how Commander Reve could achieve removing magic from the world by a divine force of will, and provided an answer for how something that can be non-existent exists once again, or a character or characters that can constantly go beyond our expectations and imagination, like Frieren. Yeah guys, let me know what you guys think about how Commander Reve is going to get rid of all magic. To me, the idea of the theory of irreversibility makes the most sense, even though it's not really explained that well. But given the themes that we know, it seems to be a reversal of some kind. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think about the theory of irreversibility, and if that's going to be applied to Commander Low. And do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, check out my blog at otakusen.com, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on many more videos.